For the first time, she tried going down on the husband. The husband called the parents.
Okay, are they old people?
Yes, that they should come and carry their daughter. That she has become a prostitute.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our channel, Life, Love, and Relationships. My name is Oluwakemi. Hello, welcome to this episode of Life, Love, and Relationships. Today, we're going to be tackling a very interesting topic. What to do when you're bored in your relationship. Individualism in marriage. And to do that with us today is Mr. Toba Oyefeso.
Hi, sis. Nice to be here again.
Thank you for always making out the time.
Anytime.
So, do you think that is even a thing? Do people actually get bored in their relationships? Or is it allowed?
I think we get bored in everything or with everything that we do in life. Sometimes you just want a fresh perspective. You want a fresh outlook to everything. Everything. Imagine being allowed to just have one piece of clothing for the rest of your life. You cannot wear native, you can't wear suits. I think some people do it so well. Some people do it so well. Like say for instance now, the vice president. I remember they named the clothing after him Atiku. So it's just one appearance. Even the president, one appearance, but different outfits, different materials, so to say. Even I think Dr. Chris Oyakilome, but different.
Mhm.
But there's that thing. So the parameters are same, but the qualities are a bit different. You move things around so that you can spice things up. I think it's the same thing with marriage. We need to know when to reinvent ourselves as individuals. We need reinvention. You can't stay stuck up ever. Change your style. Bring something new on board. So yes, I believe that you can get bored of your partner very well. And I also believe that enough is just said about this. It's almost like a taboo. There's some things you should not talk about. There's some concerns you shouldn't raise. How can you say you're bored of your partner? Why? Why not?
Yeah. I find it interesting that you likened this to clothing. But the question I would ask is, why do you think we should even talk about it?
Why we should talk about boredom in relationship? Oh, because it leads to a lot of things that people do not tie or connect back to boredom. There are a lot of marriages now that are almost hitting the rocks, and all they just need is a fresh perspective. That's all. Reinvention, so to say. And they just feel it can't work anymore. We are calling it quits. But sometimes it's just fresh perspective.
Yeah. I know you've said that it's a reality that people get bored in marriages, but what are some of the things you think, and I want you to answer this with practical examples. What are some of the things that you think may lead to boredom in marriage or in relationships?
Oh, I think predictability. Predictability, lack of creativity, lack of, what's the word now? How inspired are the individuals? For you to be all of this, to be creative, be unpredictable, you need to be inspired to want to. And I think sometimes because it's marriage, when you're dating someone, there are a lot of unpredictability around the dating scene. Yes, that's another thing is you're not stuck up with that person. There's a point to which you guys disconnect and reconnect again. You disconnect and reconnect again. So it doesn't feel monotonous. It doesn't feel like it's a continuum. There's a break and then there's a reassemblage, so to say. It starts all over again. There's a break. But when it's marriage, it's like a continuous line that doesn't end. You guys see each other every day. You're in each other's faces. You're in each other's spaces. There's no respect for personal space anymore.
There's no private space.
No privacy, nothing. And it's continuous. There's no break. After a while, you feel like there's someone in your face. Or you feel like, I already know this style. This person went and out. this is what she will do. This is the food she will cook. This is how, even down to sexual life. It is the same. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I feel as couples, you should discuss this. Firstly, even before you go into marriage, it's a conversation that you should have. It's okay. What happens when we get to this point where you can't even stand this, you can't stand me doing this? What do we do? Or what would you do? Have these conversations. And let's say in marriage, when it's happening already, you have marriages where people are very open and talk. These are fantastic types or examples of marriage where people talk. They actually,
Yeah, but not all marriages have that.
that's what I'm saying. I said fantastic. If you have that kind of marriage, very communication.
It is what all marriages should
be
have.
very important that you guys communicate and talk. And when it gets to that point where one partner feels bored with the other one, talk about it. It could just be a new hairstyle.
Yeah.
It could be something. It could be the fact that maybe the woman is dyeing her hair. I don't know. Like, go out, reinvent yourself. Reinvent you. Become a bit unpredictable and inject some freshness into the relationship. Go somewhere you've not gone before. Now, I'm saying you can do these things as an individual, and then you can do it as a couple. There's a place of you doing it as an individual, and then there's
individualism in marriage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's a place of you doing it as a couple. Am I allowed to keep talking?
Please go.
All right. Now, individualism in marriage. The Bible says that two become one, but that there was two before there was one, right?
And it was, thank you. I love that point. And it was a whole one and a whole one.
But there were two
someone
before they become one.
Someone.
So the fact that they became one doesn't mean that they are not still two. The very essence, the very unit, the smallest unit to both of them is one and one. That's the smallest unit, is one and one. Then the two now become one. So now, you must have had things you loved doing before you got married. Things that excited you, things that made you an individual. Dreams, aspiration. You have a lot of situations where people give up their dreams and aspirations the moment they get married. They just give it up. And the funny thing is, it now sometimes it morphs into the dreams and aspiration of the other one. And that's where frustration can come in. Because now you're meant to be successful as an individual, and your partner is successful as an individual. Now, when you downplay,
giving up yourself.
Yeah, you downplay your role, on your aspirations and everything, and then you morph into your husband or your wife, and then you start expecting things from them.
I think we should be looking inwards.
Yeah.
For.
Yes. So don't give up on your personal dreams and aspirations. The things that excited you before you got married, go back to those things. Yeah, marriage can be very tasking. It can suck you up a lot, especially when kids come into the picture. The responsibilities are Herculean, just too much. You're jumping from it, and then people say, "Where is the time to even dream?" But you must create time for it. You said practical example. I'll give you an example. When I was freshly raising my kids, married life and all of that, I didn't give up on my dreams. I have great love for music. Composition, writing, going into the studio. I'm a performing, recording artist, going to the studio and everything. Someone saw me one day and was like, "Where do you get the time? Because I'm shooting this music video, I'm shooting another music video, I'm shooting another. Like, where do you get the time?" And I said that if this fire dies, there'll be trouble at home. So I keep the fire burning, because the moment you stop to grow, you start dying. Yes, something starts dying inside of you, and before you know it, you have a very long perspective to life, a very lonely one, very narrowed one, and depression sets in because you're not fired up. Well, see, when you're fired up, depression can't set in. So if you have your dreams and aspirations and they're burning you, they keep making you go out, and you're fired up. You're fired up for yourself. You have enough fire to spread to your partner, and the same thing goes for her.
Do you think females also get bored in relationships?
Yes. Yeah. It goes both ways.
So the point you raised, I really love the example you gave, that when you got married, you are still able to pursue your dreams and all of that. When women are raising kids, believe you me, no matter how involved, it saps
It's a
you.
different,
It's a
yeah.
different
It's a
ball
different
game,
ballgame. See,
right? But I also want to say that, like you said, you need to just keep the fire burning because you cannot afford to lose yourself. And that's why I would say to people, parenting is beyond just providing financially. Do not have more than the number of children that you can't be there for because it takes a whole chunk of you. It takes a lot to raise children, to chase your dreams, to still be yourself, to still fulfill your mandate as a human being beyond replenishing the earth. So, what would you say to a man who is married to a woman who is just in that space and is like a rigmarole, can't just get out of that space? But the reality is, the man may think that is the only one who is bored. The woman too is bored,
yeah,
but duty calls.
yes. So to answer your question, while we were raising this point, something dropped into my mind. And what is that thing? It's like a close comparison between a Western marriage and a traditional marriage. What I mean by that is, let's say, a marriage setting in UK, in America, as compared to a marriage setting in Nigeria. Now, this is my answer to your question. There should be a window that allows for transfer of duties so that the other person
Can breathe.
can breathe. And this is where transparency and understanding comes in. Like if you know your wife, you know your partner, you know that this is the dream that she has, this is the passion she has, you need to support it. Now, no matter how productive yours is, you don't need to allow it swallow up hers. There must be time for her to be able to express herself. And you come in and then you say, "But if I can't take care of these kids, we'll get a nanny. If it's going to take me to supervise the nanny or whatever, go out and go and do you. Go out and
Even
go
if
and
it's
do
just
you.
for a little
Yes,
while.
go out and go and do it. Go and breathe.
Bring back the spark
Yes,
in
go
your
and be.
life.
So, like I said, this would speak to traditional men. The very traditional men. If you are very traditional in your perspective and
yeah.
approach and everything, this might not work so well. You just be like, I say, woman, you stay in the house, go and do this. It's not like that. A woman is an individual. She's a human being.
She's not less
person.
of a human.
She's a person. She has feelings. She gets hurt. So allow her. You must respect her enough to even know, identify her dreams and her passions, and know that this is her strength, and encourage her and say, this is where you're strong, and let her know that you know that she's strong here, and where she's weak, you're ready to offer assistance, advice, and support to help her grow and all of that. So when it gets to that type of woman, there should be transfer of duties. The duties that are holding her back, she should be able to transfer them. You should be able to take it on and help her and say, you know what, it's event planning you love doing. Saturdays, man, go get yours.
I'll stay with the kids. I'll hold the fort.
Yes, if I cannot stay with the kids, I get someone who stays with the kids. If I'm going to also monitor the person staying with the kids through a camera from where you can always make these things work. You can always make it work, and it doesn't boil down to money all the time. It's just consideration, kind consideration, and putting yourself in the shoes of someone else. And it's being selfless as well. When you're not selfish, when you're selfless, it's easy to do.
And that's what true love really is.
Yes, when you're selfless, but when you're selfish, and it always has to be you. No, like I was watching Rema, he said something very, very interesting. He said, it's not you, it's not about you all the time, you being a star, a celebrity. He said sometimes remove yourself from that box of celebrity and go to someone and say, what's troubling you? What do you need? You know, that's being very intentional. Very intentional. Like, I want to notice, what's this woman's, what are her fears? What are her challenges? What does she lack? And then providing these things, bringing the suggestion. She might even be so swamped that she finds it hard to bring up these issues.
Yeah.
Like she's already thinking, some women, men and women alike, are very considerate, and they just want to sort out the family, they want to be there. And because of that, they're very, very afraid to bring up the issue of I'm feeling inadequate. I don't feel full. I feel something is missing. And she's quiet. She's in the kitchen, she's cooking, she's soaking it all up. That pressure is not good, it's not healthy. both for men and women. It's not healthy. Once you're in that spot, speak up.
I think there's even an advantage when you get to that point, when you can feel that, there's more to you than this. There is also another category of people who are not even aware, right? He or she is just okay with being, but the partner can't find a way to communicate that, oh boy, step up your game, or oh girl, step up your game. That's one end. Another end is to look at something you talked about sometimes, alpha male. How does an alpha male recognize that these realities, or this is a reality as well for the female?
I don't know. The last time we spoke, I recommended you see a movie.
Yeah.
Alpha male.
Yeah.
There's something they do in there. They call it deconstruction of your masculinity. Yes, as an alpha male, I am an alpha male. No denying it, no doubt about it. But one thing I do is my emotional aspect, I'm in touch with it. My feminine aspect, let me put it that way, I am in touch with it. Because as a male, you have your feminine aspect. As a female, you have
it, yeah.
Yes, estrogen and testosterone. It's running. So you need to be in touch with it. You can't be hard all the time. You need to deconstruct your masculinity. Yes, for you to function sometimes, you need to do that because you can't go hard all the time. If you go hard, sometimes you crash. You crash. So you go soft. And then you determine when to go hard again. You go soft. The same thing with dealing with your better half, your partner. There are points where you have to look at life through the feminine lens. You get, like, for instance, now, this woman, she keeps complaining that she's tired. The kids are this, the kids are that. And as a man, you're like, what's the big deal? You like, go out all day, what's the big? Try and just switch it around. And then you see the big deal. You see that I say something. God has given every one of us, like both male and female, the power, the strength to be us. For a male, God has bestowed upon us what it takes to be a male. For a female, God has bestowed on you what it takes to be a female. So we can't compare. So what I mean is this, in simple terms: a man, no matter how strong he is, cannot conceive and carry a child for 9 months in the womb.
Gender roles given to us by nature.
And then here's the thing now. Let's not turn it and take advantage of it. Let's not turn it. As a man, God has given you what it takes to be strong, to be the head of the home. He has given you. It's by nature. It's been deposited inside of you. As a woman as well, it's been deposited inside of you to be able to withhold.
Nurture.
Yes, to nurture, carry a baby for 9 months. Now, the fact that you've carried a baby for 9 months, you shouldn't sing the heroism in it. And a man should not downplay the heroism in it. Vice versa. Because it's a big deal.
It is.
I remember the first, not even the first, the 3 times I was in labor with my wife. I didn't get used to it. After the first one, I thought, oh, I've done it before. The feeling I had the first time, they were repeated 3 times. And they were a terrible feeling, like it was a bad place. Like this is between life and death. And after the first one, you say to yourself, man, I'm never doing this thing.
So this one again.
It's not even the woman that says she's, because of the pain, she's not doing it anymore. The man himself.
That saw it.
That saw it. Like, I'm not doing, this is the last time. You heard of cases where men are in the labor room and they faint.
Yeah.
And doctors are trying to revive.
Or they throw up and they're trying to revive the
man while trying to attend to.
Yeah.
I almost fainted. I had to excuse myself. I left and I came back.
Coming from an alpha male.
Yes. So women are strong, just the same way men are strong. I think this is one of the problems that we have in marriages. And sometimes partners now downplay on roles or take advantage of roles. As a male, an alpha male, you should be able to deconstruct your masculinity and tear down everything that makes you an alpha male. Bring it back together. You're an alpha male with your nature. It's like you're going hunting. You don't take all types of gun to a hunting field. There's a specific type of gun you take to a hunting field. So as an alpha male, you should be able to smart enough to say to yourself, this is the character trait that works for this. Shouting will not work for this one. It's like you're correcting a child. I'm always very, very, very extremely disciplined towards my kids. But there are moments that it will be
all boys.
Boys. There are moments that it will be the mom that is trying to be so hard. And amazingly, I will just be soft.
Yeah, because you have to compliment it.
I'll just be soft. I'll give you a practical example. My family went spending Christmas, my mother-in-law's place, and then my first son, went out without telling mom. It's never happened before because we keep them cased in the house. So he went out, followed friends there, and they went out there. Then the mom did not know where he was for over 1 hour.
Oh my God.
She lost her mind.
That's scary.
Because it's never happened before. Like, this boy is lost. She couldn't call me because she knows that.
You would hold her responsible.
Yes, like, what were you doing? And then when she found him,
of course,
and then she lost it, that was when she told me about it. Do you know that secretly there was a part of me that was happy? This boy went out with friends and came back home safely. He has achieved a milestone. This is something that I could never have allowed him to achieve. I could never have allowed him to do. If he had told me that I
intentionally,
yes, I could never. But he did it and he came back. There's a lesson he has learned. I'm thankful to God that nothing bad happened, but he has done it. And so she was shocked that I didn't go at it with so much venom and everything. I was just calm. Like, Kemi is back now. I was celebrating. There's a part of me that was celebrating, like, this happened and all of that.
Because it's a skill they need to develop.
It's a skill they need to develop. Because at what point are you able to individually go out, take care of yourself, go out and come back in? Because, I mean, Nigeria, Lagos is a very risky place. So you need to learn the street languages and all of that to be able to survive outside. Because at some point, you won't be with them all the time. So you must be able to deconstruct your masculinity. And the same thing goes for a woman. You must be able to wear the garment of how a man reasons sometimes. It's not every time you're emotional about everything. You can't afford to be like that. You have to be analytical sometimes. You have to be logical sometimes. Because every time the man is logical, he's trying to protect the family. So wear your garment of logic at times too. And say, this is how this guy would see this thing. Before he comes down and say, I now did this, I did that. Wow. Part of you understand. And he feels that whenever he's not around, he can totally bestow responsibilities on you, to take care of things and all of that. So we need to be able to switch up these things. We should not be rigid in our natural states. It's what makes us individuals and human beings. We go to school to learn, to develop, to advance, to move away from the rigid state or positioning, to learn, to
open up our
expand
minds.
And all of that. The same thing goes
widen our horizon
with marriage.
So individualism in marriage, where do we draw the line? I mean, you understand the concept of individualism, and then we also understand the reality sometimes of getting bored in marriage.
Yeah.
But to marry these two together, there must be a convergence where you can marry individualism and then you can marry
point of connection.
The point, yes, thank you.
If you heard what I said back then, I said there are things you do individually and there are things you do as a couple. When you're bored, there are things you do individually and then there are things you do as a couple. So do not misplace the position in both of them. You do things separately as individuals. You know that thing we call guy time? That a guy just wants to. There's something we get from that thing that marriage cannot give us.
I don't know whether it's personality, but I know my quiet time is extremely important. So is it safe to say that also applies to females?
Yes.
My quiet time is extremely, I don't joke with it, because that's the only place where I get into my head. I get into me without any form of distraction. And it keeps me sane. It keeps me going. It gives me inspiration. It just keeps me in tune with me.
We all require quiet times. When you wake up in the morning, do you wake up as your husband? No, you don't. You wake up as you. You don't even wake up as your kids. You wake up as you first. He wakes up as himself. And then you start to tie things together and all of. But before you do that, you need to be at your best mental capacity, physical capacity to take care of anybody.
Yeah.
If you're incapacitated health-wise now, you're not functional to anyone, not even to yourself.
You can't be useful.
Yes, so you need to take care of yourself. So that's your individualism. You need, and guess what? Nobody's going to do that for you. Nobody's going to do that for you. Your mental health, your mental alertness, your physical preparedness, nobody is going to do that for you. You have to put that in check to be able to take care of anyone.
Absolutely.
So that's your individualism. So your mental is your space and everything, and your partner must respect that. There are times that I need access and the door is locked and madam is in the room, the door is locked. I take a chill pill, man. I just go and take a chill pill somewhere. I had to learn it. As an alpha male, like, why is the door locked? Why is the door locked? But later on, I started learning that, do you like noise all the time? I was asking myself, and the answer was no. Maybe this woman has had enough noise.
Because, interestingly, for women, I don't know whether they do it to you. Well, okay, you have boys. For me, I have all girls. Do you know that even as much as going into the bathroom, I don't know how they do it. The whole place is smelling. My kids are there gisting with me. They want to, and I'm wondering, where am I going to get? So sometimes for women, we just need, and I really like what you said that your wife does. You don't need to lock yourself in that space where it's just, can I just get my mind together?
And I leave her, I just let her be. Let her be, and then...
That's powerful. It's like you're trying to recharge.
Yes, you're recharging. And then in all these things we're saying, individualism and then coming together, children have roles they play in this. For those who don't have kids, and for those who have kids, kids actually have roles that they play. Kids wear you out, they wear you down. So you need to realize when you are down, when your social battery is low. You need to know. And you need to do something about recharging it. There are simple tasks that you might do that might just re-energize you. Sometimes it might just be driving to your favorite place. It might just be something as simple as that.
Sometimes, I think Melvin is aware of this. I just drive to the general hospital, that place where you have plants at the back, and the wind is just blowing in my face. I just come down from the car. I just walk around, person. And my wind is just,
your face,
my bare face. I'm just soaking in the sounds of the bird chirping around. I can do that for 2 hours before I drive back to the house.
And that's intentionality. You're intentional about it. A lot of us, we allow the wind of marital life, family life, just take over us.
Because the truth is, I can only give my best when I'm in my best.
Yes.
And if you don't recharge,
you can't function. You can't serve anyone. You can't serve yourself. How much more serving anybody if you do not recharge? So identifying when you need to recharge. And when you need to recharge, just tell your partner, babe, I'm down. I'm drained. I need to change batteries. I need to switch batteries. You guys talk about it. If he is not feeling that way, he can help. If you're both feeling that way, then you need to strategize and plan. And say, okay, this is what we do. We cannot leave this unattended to. Let us do this. Let us do that. After doing this, we both can now go away. If it's the both of you that are down at the same time. If it's one person, okay, how do you feel? This is how I feel. I feel worn out. I'm usually tired. I'm just okay. Okay, so what do we do? Do you need time out? Yeah, I think a time out is fine. Okay, where do you want to go? I'll figure it out. Now think about it.
Yeah.
Let it be our own thing. No, don't go in there and try to figure it out for ourselves before it becomes responsibility and duties again. Let it be internalized in our mind. Let her be the one to say, this is where I want to go. So, and when she figures it out, of course, again, the female aspect also deconstructing into, you have to be logical about where you want to go. Yeah.
Practical.
Yes. The finance, the financial implication. Is this something that...
I mean, it doesn't even necessarily have to have financial implication. Yeah. Like I used an example.
Exactly.
I go to general hospital.
But some people might want to go to a nice place. That might be what does
well, it for them. You have to look at the reality of your family.
Exactly.
You have to look at the reality of your general pocket, of your collective pocket of your family, and your personal pocket. Yeah. There are immediate needs that you cannot even wait to plan a vacation or something. So things like that, just
short, very short interludes, very short. Something you can do immediately. Absolutely. It might be a walk in a garden. Yes, it might just
be locking yourself in the room.
Yes.
It might just be asking your husband, please, can you have the children for 1 hour? It might
be seeing your favorite movie.
It can be
uninterrupted.
Yeah, it can be reading your book.
It can be reading uninterrupted, reading a favorite book uninterrupted. It might be listening to music uninterrupted. But we have different ways of recharging. But whatever it is you need to recharge. Because the truth is this, we get bored of life.
Not just our partners.
We get bored of life. Let me say, life is in itself. Surviving in life is a skill.
And sorry, I want to please say this.
Yeah.
And there's a very thin line between getting bored of life and getting bored of your partner. In some situations, you may actually not be bored of your partner. It may be that you're bored of life. And unfortunately, your partner happens to be the person in closest proximity to that experience you're going through. So it may look like you are, I mean, we're not just transferred. It may look like you're bored of your partner, but in essence, it is because you've lost touch with some things that keep your fire
burning. I was talking about life existing and surviving life being a skill. Sometimes life can be overwhelming. You know, this what I say to myself, I remind myself this is a task that we have to carry out. What's the task I'm talking about? Life. We have to keep going until we can't go anymore. So you take short breaks. You have a fresh perspective to life. Inject some fresh ideas. Pursue that dream, that thing you've always imagined. And age is not a barrier. Age is nothing. I read of someone who reinvented himself after he retired. He retired and then he went into modeling at 50 something. Yes. The fear there is that the people will tell you you're too old for this. No, it's the mind. You can stay fresh and young forever. Do whatever it is you want to do. If it's music, go do the music. People will laugh at you, because you sometimes might feel obscure that I see this man, but do your thing.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Something I've learned from what you've said now is supporting your partner's dreams is actually your best interest, because they're able to just serve you at their best, because the fire keeps burning.
You have an elevated mental state. If you have a partner whose dream you're supporting, their mental state is alert, it's fresh, it's fired up. And once that is fired up, there's new love. Yes, there's new joy, new happiness, and everything is new. And so it feels like how you guys started when you initially got married. You inject that back into the marriage and everything. So look out for such things. Beginning of this year, I felt very burnt out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I felt very burnt out. Like, I just felt like I was carrying everybody and carrying, like, medicine is tiring. I'm tired. And we sat down, me and my partner, me and my wife, and we had this conversation. And it came to my realization that I had stopped creating. I'm a highly creative person. I thrive on creativity. I sit in my studio space, I write. I could write a movie, write whatever. And then I go forth and I try to practicalize what I put down into writing. And I realized I was not doing that anymore. What I was just doing was fending and caring for the family, carrying everybody and making sure things are working. And I realized that I was not doing anything for myself. And then we sat down and spoke about that. And I started putting things into gear to do this, to do that, to this. And I found my happiness again. Just the thought of the fact I'm doing something for myself. I found my happiness again. I was fired up again. Planning this, planning that, planning this one. How much would this cost to do this, to do that, to do this? I'm being in my creative space where I like to express myself. And so that's like you birthing, just like the image of our creator, creating, birthing, bringing something out, saying that, oh, I created this, I created that. And that keeps you going. It propels you, it keeps you moving. And once you do that, you rediscover your joy, your happiness, your need to move. And once you do that, you transfer that to the family. Everybody is happy because you're happy.
Yeah.
Because your approach to everybody is fresh and rejuvenated.
The energy is positive.
Yes, it's there. And then your partner she's rebounding off it. Like, this is what you're passing. There's more laughter, there's more joy. And because I always say to myself, this marriage, there's nowhere you're running to anymore. This is it. So you might as well just make it bubble, like make it,
make it bubble.
Rather than say you're tired.
You want to go and shop for someone else.
That's what people do these days. And then you're shopping, you're buying a product which features you don't even know. You already know the features of this one.
And the product will certainly come to that cycle of life.
Exactly. To
that cycle of life of boredom.
Yes, again. And then you have to start all over. You have to start all over to know this new person and all over from the beginning.
I would actually like you to dwell on this point, because the temptation is if you go shop for another person, that initial razzmatazz, that
there.
initial, the word you use, butterfly,
Yes.
makes it look like, oh, you've gotten rid of the boredom.
So it's life. It's like a brand new car. You're going to get tired of that car someday, very soon.
But in the long term, it doesn't take care of the real issue.
No, it doesn't.
That's what I wanted to
It doesn't
speak to,
solve
yeah.
it. It doesn't solve it because you're right back at that point. So life is all about coping. We're here to solve problems till we die. As you solve one problem, another problem is rearing its head. So you learn a skill to solve problems, to cope with problems, because they'll always come. But if you react to problems as they come and say, I'm tired,
To overcome problem,
you might just, the earlier you run to your grave, the better, because nothing is going to change. It's problem. You are going to solve it. So learn problem solving skills. The same thing with marriage. You learn it. It's problem solving. There'll be the problems will arise, and then you solve them. You move past them, and then you keep moving. You see, I say one thing. I reflect or look back on something. When you're young, when you're newly married and everything, you're bursting with energy. You almost feel like you can do anything. When kids come into the picture and everything, and they start to slow you down, you're no longer as alert, as fast, as quick on your feet,
responsive
as you used to be.
Yeah.
There's one thing I fear the most. When you're now very old, like let's say you're in your 60s and your 70s, and you've divorced that woman that you started it with. Your memories, your backdrop, your past, you've disconnected. Now you're in your 60s. You're a lonely bagger. Because the truth is this. At that point, what you just want is companionship. Loneliness can kill. And you want someone that gets you. You want your own person. You want someone that will stay after it all. Because you meet people and they'll go. That's the truth. But some people might not agree with
it's okay. And that's the beauty of life. A professor once told me that the beauty of education is that there is no absoluteness.
Yeah.
There are just many perspectives to things.
Yeah.
There are always baselines of rules, the way you do. If you do things in a certain way, you might likely get this result. We know that. But there is no complete absoluteness. You cannot be completely right in your own way. There are also other perspectives that are proven to work. There isn't just one way of looking at things. Just what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
People have done the same thing you've done consistently in a particular way and has produced results for you. Some people have tried it some other way and it has produced the results they want.
Have you checked this in education? It's very, very funny that you touched on that. If you realize that to a particular concept in life, you have several expert definitions of the same thing.
Yeah.
One concept is being defined several ways by this is how this person sees it. And that's how development and advancement, that's how it comes. Arguments, diverse views, divergent in views and all of that. That's how we advance as a society.
Absolutely.
You see things this way. You say, oh, you see, I didn't see that aspect. I'm touching on your definition now.
If you all keep saying it the same way, then there would be no opportunity for growth.
Yes, so if anyone has a contrary view to what I've said,
it's fine as well. That's all we're saying. There is something I want us to talk on before we go. Is boredom in the sexual relations between couples. How do you navigate that? And I want you to take this question from looking at both parties, female, male, and in most cases you have an alpha male. Ego is everything, right? Your man wants you to he wants to give you his best. But when that woman gets bored or the man gets bored, and even for females, ego is at stake, whether you like it or not. How do you tell your partner, hey, guy, I'm not feeling this thing, or girl, switch up your game? It's a very sensitive thing because however you handle it can easily turn off turn off the partner to either turn off the partner completely to lose interest.
And never open up again.
Because they don't want to feel that they're not doing enough.
So I think there's just one tool to use here, and that tool is communication.
Hey, communication keeps coming, even
communication
in,
is
even
everything.
In sexual relationships.
It's everything. As an alpha male, I talked about deconstructing your masculinity. You need to come down from your high horse and have that conversation. Open up, talk about it. Nobody is a wizard. Nobody is a mind reader. I can't read your mind all the time. So you need to really open up and say, this is how I feel. It's like you're having a headache and you're not expressing the fact that you're having a headache. And I'm just here, happy that you're around, and I just pounce on you. You feel that impact of the headache. And you're not telling me you have a headache, but now you're reacting to me. I'll feel funny, like, why are you behaving like this?
Towards me.
Yes, I just open up.
It's your problem.
It's a personal thing. We say, hey, I'm having a headache. Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. You see, my approach towards you, now that I know that you have a headache, it's going to be different. It's the same thing with this topic we're having now, sexual relations between two people. If you're not having that conversation to say, babe, we are boring, no. Let's even say the two of us. Which one is sharp out of the place right now? No, let's spice up. Let's try something new. Do you have any ideas? Yes. I can look something up. Yes. I can look something up. I can do this. I can do that. Oh, wow. And then I have some surprising it for you. You know, something you've not done before. So, you know, this story reminds me, it takes me down to something that happened sometimes ago. An alpha male, very traditional man. And then the wife felt there was no spark in their sexual relations. And then, for the first time, she tried going down on the husband. The husband called the parents.
Okay, are they old people?
Yes, that they should come and carry their daughter. She has become a prostitute. You know, now in that case, now you can tell that there hasn't been communication. Is it even very possible?
Know, the danger is she was actually trying to.
Yes, but there hasn't been communication.
She was trying to either pleasure him or.
Do you understand? Spice up.
Do something for him.
Yes. If they had communicated, she would have gotten to know that, oh, he has reservations about this. And so I should approach it gently. If he's going to change, he won't change all at once like that. It has to be a gradual thing. If they had had that conversation, she would have known. And then she probably wouldn't have done it that way. She probably would have even talked about it. And then they would, have conversation. And the guy would say, no. She would raise it again. You know, like, you're so stuck up.
Prepare him.
You're so stuck up.
Until spark up his interest. Okay,
exactly.
Let's even try this thing you're talking about.
What's this thing you're talking about? And then it happens, and then, everybody is happy and all of that. Communication is everything.
Something occurred to me now.
Yeah.
You have some relationships like that for whatever reason, a man doesn't want to do it with the wife. For whatever reason. You guys know better. But he may be getting it elsewhere. Why? Why is that?
All right. It's very simple.
That same thing he doesn't want his wife to do to him.
It's very simple.
He actually wants it, but he wants it.
It's very simple. As a man, I don't know if I'm not a woman, so I can't say for a woman. But as a man, if you want your marriage to work, you must desire it. Nobody is going to want it to work for you.
You must desire it.
You must want it to work. And if you want it to work, there are certain things that you have to do. Now,
you must align yourself
your
with
wife,
your desire.
Your partner becomes your best friend, your everything. If you're having certain, desires or emotions that you're keeping away from your wife, you're about to get into trouble very soon. Yes. If you have them and then you keep them, you just hide them, you don't discuss you, and then these desires keep coming up. They keep coming up, and you're not having that conversation with her. You guys should be playful. Actually, you should be playful. Like, you should be in an environment where you can say anything. I was watching a video. I found this actually very extreme. It was a social media post, a video, and the lady was trying to dress up, and then the next thing, the man just dipped his hand into her front part of the body, and the woman was like, and then the man said, I never paid bride price. That kind of that playfulness.
Yeah.
You could tell that this one's there's
They're
nothing
friends.
this guy would not say. There was a video to a lady. She was in she was not in good terms with her husband, and then she placed the camera that, you guys watch, this is what's going to happen, that my husband cannot say no to bomb bomb. And then she placed herself in an obvious position where the man will see her bomb as his pass. And truly,
And they're supposed to be fighting.
they were fighting. Oh, actually, this man was back already, and the lady was like, "What? Actually fighting." Even though that we are fighting, even though the lady that said, "See, look at the camera, I'm recording you." Okay, like those guys are playful. When you're playful, when you're with your
playfulness
friend,
is very important.
everything.
Playfulness.
When you're with your friend,
they're
when
able
you're
to be like children with one another.
yes, play. It's important. So once you have that, it's easy. It's very easy for you guys to communicate. It's easy to bring up any issue, no matter how complex or complicated in nature those issues are. It's easy because you guys are playful. You have that, like, you throw jokes, yabs, serious, or you bath. You get like that kind of thing. You shouldn't be stuck up. Life is too serious. Life itself is too serious. Now, when you now add your own seriousness to it, you are injuring yourself. Because, see, the bills are coming, the responsibilities are coming. Anyway, so why do you have to be serious all the time? Like, let loose, play, laugh.
Yeah.
Laugh at yourself too. Laugh at yourself.
Sex is one tool where it helps you to.
It takes away all the pressure and all of that.
It's a gift to us from God.
It takes away all the pressure and all of that. It just.
Is there a word like depression? Is there a word? Is there a word like? No.
So
you get what I mean? When you're with that partner that this is your own person, this is your wife or your husband, and there's just a way you feel after. Use it to your advantage.
Yes, it's a release. It's a release. It's a passage. It's a funnel.
Yeah.
To let all the pressure out. To let all the all of that out. So it's a very very important.
Thank you. It's been a very, very interesting conversation today, and I hope you've had a good time like we did. Thank you so much for being with us today on Life, Love, and Relationships. If you're yet to subscribe to our channel, please go ahead and press the subscribe button right now. It's been lovely having you here, Mr. Toba Oyefeso. Before you go, I'd like you to talk a bit about what you do. You've already talked about how it helps you in your marital life, but I'd like you to throw some light on how what you do also makes you enjoy your marriage.
Okay, so I'm a producer, songwriter, a recording artist, voiceover artist, a voice coach, a music enthusiast. So I love music a lot, and that's one way that I deconstruct as one very important form of or medium of expression and communication. If I feel so bad about anything, I can write a song about it. If I feel so pensive, and so I can.
It's one of your outlets.
Yeah. So, and I keep it close to me in the sense that I have invested in tools that can allow me to express myself immediately, whenever, at whatever time of the day I need to express myself. So when life hits me, when the pressure of adulthood hits me, when the pressure of
when life
marital, when life is life, I just go in there. It works all the time. I pick up my pen. There are some songs I don't finish. The task is not to finish it. The task is to carry that burden and cascade it onto something else. So there are some songs I don't finish, and then there are some that materializes and become fruitful and I release them. I record them, I release them, I share them with friends, and if they make it to my personal playlist, I promote them, I record them and I promote them and all of that. So this helps me to relax. This helps me to hold on to the reins of life and say, I have some level of control. Though I don't have any control, but I know that I can still do this. If I feel bad about what's going on in the country, I write about it. If I feel bad, if I feel that we should be more helpful towards each other, I write about it. I can write an excerpt. It can be a song. I can write a movie. I can, and all of that. And if I want to actually, further express myself, I can invite other people to participate in it and say, guys, let's do this together. Let's do that together. So this helps me. This helps me to preserve my sanity and my mental state my mental health and get re-energized and keep facing life. The trouble never ends. Problem no dey finish, they say. So to face the next problem, that's what we are here to do until we leave.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for
Bye,
having me.
guys.